P-A-S-C-A-L. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let us not forget that. Okay, we got some things we got to get into conversation about. Dear God. Oh, my Lord. It has been a very interesting couple of, it's been an interesting 15 hours, 16, 17 hours, something like that. It has been a very interesting night, to say the least, and morning, because the world is percolating around this whole thing. Yes, in a way, the true crime world just got rejuvenated. I don't know, like maybe a shot of espresso, or like maybe they just shotgunned a Red Bull or something like that, or a jolt of energy. But true crime is wide awake right now, and it is absolutely insane, y'all. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. We got some things to discuss. I may do something a little bit later on in the show. Don't know yet. We got some things to talk about. There's a lot of people talking about this, having a lot of questions and a lot of speculations and a lot of things that still have not been answered. Again, there's a lot of unanswered questions, which is driving, I don't know about you, but it's driving me a little insane, to be completely real. All right. But we have got to get into this conversation. There's some things
we didn't
that
hear
we
a
got to
word
talk about, and I'm just trying to get a few things set up. So do me a favor before we get into everything. And also, I forgot. This is going to be a little bit of a left turn, but it has nothing to do with the Idaho 4, but even Lori Daybell, okay? Lori Vallow Daybell, whatever her, that monster, okay? Even her exclusive interviews dropping today, or tonight, I'm sorry. So again, some wild stuff going on, guys. All right. So before we continue, do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. All right. Don't forget, if you are watching on those platforms like Facebook, X/, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you're hitting that follow button. Follow. Don't forget, of course, to hit that follow. Of course, subscribe here on my main channel on YouTube. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. There's been some updates on another case that we're following. Diddy. I talked about that over on the secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell for both of those doggone things, okay? For both of these channels, okay? That'll be greatly appreciated. Hit that join button down below. Hit that. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. All right? Anyway, guys, let us get into this conversation. What a night it has been. And I know a lot of people who have been, either you are a veteran to this case or you're a novice. You're brand new to the case. It has been absolutely crazy in the internet streets. Chat forums and discussions online and all that stuff have been going crazy. Everyone is losing their doggone minds, understandably, because of what we saw and what we read through just last night. There are some very weird things that are going on here. A lot of questionable, let's just say that, a lot of questionable things that were going on in regards to this whole Idaho 4 tragedy, okay? We already know that 4 individuals lost their lives inside of a home, a little bit off campus at the University of Idaho, okay? Now we do have, or they do have, a main suspect, a person of interest, if you will, not even a person of interest. I think they got their guy, at least one of their guys. Let's just say that, okay? But long story short, Brian Kohberger is literally fighting for his life as we speak, because he is looking at the DP, and if he gets it, he gone. And he could also be the first in a very long time to be staring down the multiple barrels of a full-on firing squad Yeah. So again, this could be very, very bad for him if he's found guilty of taking the lives of these 4 students. Now, last night we talked about this, and I was like, you know what? We need to talk a little bit more about this. I was feeling some type of way about the stuff I saw. All right. And we needed to talk and discuss it a little bit more. And of course, there's a lot of other things that, like the Steve Goncalves came out and spoke out. Okay, there's a bunch of other videos, a bunch of other news stations that have been covering this and talking about this as well. Like I said, this is a case and a tragedy that has taken over the world. Okay, everyone wants to know what actually happened, how this whole thing went down, because a lot of it is still questionable. Especially more than anything. Well, no, honestly, I take that back. I was going to say more than anything, it's the text messages, but no, hell no. It's everything, guys. It's everything. Everything does not make sense. Do you understand that? Everything is weird. Now, it sucks because we are just reading transcripts. And apparently, they may leak the 911 call. So we may get the audio of the 911 call in the near future. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later, because the people are waiting at bated breath, wanting to know exactly what this sounded like, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, the 911 call is a little bit odd. Let's be real. It's weird. It's weird, y'all. It's weird. And again, it's like, okay, the context of this. Where are they? Are they inside? Are they outside the house? What the hell is going on here? The phone keeps on getting passed around a bunch. Who are the people that are talking? You see what I'm saying? Okay. Then the other thing too, of course, the main question, the elephant in the room that I've been saying ad nauseum since the time we heard about the timeline 2 years ago about this is, why did it take them so long to call 911 in the first doggone place? That's question number 1. And then number 2, how on sweet baby Jesus land can they not know if Xana is passed out or if she's gone? How could they not know that she was attacked viciously? Again, makes no sense. None whatsoever. And yes, I get it. There are wild things that happen, like the human body can do some wild stuff. And yes, it's possible for this, and this to happen and all that stuff, right? We hear all about that all the time. But the fact that there was so much blood everywhere, so much that it was leaking out the side of the house, at least in one of the rooms, which I'm assuming is Xana's room where Ethan was found gone as well. It's safe to say that the scene was probably really, really gnarly, right? Gruesome. Shocking. You could probably see from space how the carnage was. You could probably see it from space that there was red everywhere. Looked like a damn horror flick, I'm sure. But for some strange reason, these kids were saying that Xana was passed out from drinking too much the night before. It wasn't until the police officer or whoever dispatched saying that they were going there said, I think we have a homicide. That also doesn't make any sense. Now, again, let me remind you, all y'all that are watching on these platforms, okay? Number 1, we do not know the context of what is going on. We don't know if they're inside the house and they're standing right next to Xana. We don't know if they're outside and they're just running in and out of the house. We don't know that context. Now, we understand that when cops were pulling up and everything, there was a lot of commotion outside for sure, outside of the house for sure, which of course is devastating to hear, right? Terrifying stuff. But still, though, we don't know the full context. Let's just understand that really quick. There's a lot of confusion revolving around that, right? And of course, we're all still trying to understand what's going on. And then one thing that just this just grinds my gears, okay? Because it doesn't help. All right, the like the glossary or the like the what do you call this? It's kind of like the cast, right? The cast of the phone call. So you see Q, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, then A1, A2, and it's like, man, could you have just given them initials? We would have figured it out. It's so confusing because you're like, A1 is who, and then A is who, and A1 is who, and then who's A2? You see what I'm saying? It's very confusing. And so, again, audio would be so helpful because then we could hear everything, right? We'll hear every nuanced thing. There could be some mumbling going on in the background. There could be screaming and crying going on. There could be thuds from people passing out from seeing what they see, right? But even if they did see something that would cause them to pass out, why, oh, why did they say Xana is passed out from drinking? Like I said, make it make sense. It fully does not. It's not adding up for me personally. Okay. And I'm hoping at some point we get this audio here very soon. But let me just show you guys the 911 call one more time. Let's just go through it. And then we're going to go through the text messages again too. All right. And we do have some clips, videos, all that stuff we're going to look at. Like I said, the news is picking this up and talking about it because obviously this is a case that everybody and their mama is really, of course, understandably consuming and concerned about, because there's still these holes that they're like, it's funny because it's like the holes they feel that are going to be filled by putting out these transcripts. They're like, here you go. Now you got some questions answered. There you go. They didn't answer anything. They didn't answer it. No, they didn't answer nothing. Nothing at all. They didn't answer anything. With all due respect, we do know that there's people there, but we already been known that. We've been known that. So again, more questions than answers. They're like, blap. There you go, guys. Namaste. Okay, we did y'all a favor. You know what I mean? Judge, hey, shout out to the judge, first off. Okay, because I understand that the judge is going to release even more information, which, yeah, I approve that message tremendously because we're going to finally get more transparency on what the hell happened here 2 years later, but still better now than never, right? But at the same time, appreciate the help. Appreciate the hookup, Judge. But actually, his name is Judge. I forgot. But thank you so much, Judge. But at the same time, we still don't have full answers yet. And now even more speculations are brewing again. I'm telling you right now, people are going back to the trap house theory. I'm not kidding. I'm really not kidding. So like I said, is this fully answering everything? No. But I'm hoping that audio will. Because just on transcript, sure, explains a few things, but it doesn't explain everything. So let's take a look at this at 911 call, okay? So dispatch is answering, okay, 911, location of your emergency. Hi, something's happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. Then dispatcher says, what is the address of your emergency? 1122, no, don't. And it's like, no, don't. I think she's talking to one of the people. Maybe they're outside, okay? And maybe Hunter or EA. I don't know who EA is, by the way. I don't remember who EA is. If anybody knows who EA is, please put it in the comment section. That'd be greatly appreciated. It's been years, guys. It's been years. But moving on, she says 11:22. No, don't. Meaning, in my mind, she's trying to tell somebody who's probably going to run back inside the house. Oh, Evan, thank you. Okay. Evan, right? So maybe she's talking to one of the guys. One of the guys is trying to, be brave enough to run in there and check the scene again, right? So it's no, don't, right? So no, don't. So what's the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay. And is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address just to make sure I have it right? I'll talk to you guys. So in other words, you got to remember, there's a lot of chaos going on. They're probably going, hey, what's going on? Is it's Emily A or is it Evan? Emily A, Hunter's girlfriend? Okay, I'll let you guys have that discussion. Anyway, moving on. So I'll talk to you guys. Where we live at the right. So we're next to them. So this is somebody else who grabs the phone, right? So she's like, I'll take over because clearly either Bethany or Dylan are freaking the F out. Okay? I'm sure they're freaking the F out at this moment, right? Oh my gosh, this is really real. Xana's passed out, which makes no sense to me. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys. Where we live at the right, so we're next to them. So she's indicating the house that she lives in. Okay. Moving on, dispatch says, I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address, 1122 King Road. Dispatch. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? So she's like, what's your number? Right? What's your number to Dylan or Bethany? Such and such, such and such. She's giving the person the number. Okay. So dispatch says, okay. And tell me exactly what's going on. So neighbor, okay, says, one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Then someone says no, or at least Bethany or Dylan say, no, we saw, okay. And this is obviously all being said on top of each other, right? Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. And then Bethany or Dylan grab the phone and say, hi. And then, of course, and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around. Can I just tell you what happened? Pretty much. What's going on currently? This is what dispatch says. Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Now, one thing real quick, just going back to the beginning where A1, like the neighbor friend, is talking to dispatch, right? She says, one of the roommates, because she is correcting herself because the roommate, she doesn't live there. So she's realizing, oh, I was about to say it's my roommate, but it's not my roommate, right? So she's saying one of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night, she's not waking up. Now, here's the thing. The only other theory I can think of is neighbor showed up and was outside and doesn't know everything that's going on. All she's hearing is people saying Xana's on the floor. Maybe she doesn't see anything and she's just playing telephone, if that makes any sense. So one moment she's saying, oh, there's someone, okay, one of the roommates is passed out. She was drunk from last night and she's not waking up. When they're most likely saying like she's gone, but she's computing and gathering the information right then and there. Maybe like she just showed up to the scene and Bethany, Dylan, Hunter, EA, they're all freaking out, right? And this person's going, wait, what's going on? What's going on? just give me the phone. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Calm down. Just give me the phone. Yes. Hi. I'll talk to you. Yeah, this is what's going on. We're at 1122 Kings Road, right? So she's outside. She doesn't know what's going on. All she knows is somebody, Xana, one of the roommates, is down. She's not getting up, man. She's not getting up. Yeah. So she was drinking last night. She's passed out. She's thinking it's not that big of a deal, right? Or she may have drank something, maybe Xana, whoever the roommate is, passed out and, from alcohol poisoning or something of that sort. You know what I'm saying? So she's probably like, this is not an M scene, but something tragic is happening. Does that make sense? So then she's saying what she's saying, right? Like, so what I'm gathering here, because we're showing up, I'm just showing up to the scene. Here's what I know so far. Blah. That's possible. That's possible. So she shows up and she's like, what's going on? She's still outside. She hasn't been in the house to see the crime scene. They have. So they're all, Bethany and Dylan have. So they're all freaking out. And this particular neighbor is just computing and getting the information as she's standing there in real time. That's possible, right? That's possible. So anyway, as you can see, because she says, one of the roommates was passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Then Bethany or Dylan say, no, we saw. And then dispatch says, okay. And then A1, the person who's on the phone, the neighbor, says, oh, and they said they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Then Bethany or Dylan grab the phone because she's like, wait a second, you're getting this wrong. Hold on. Got this wrong, right? Hi. And then she's like, okay, and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to tell me or to keep the phone and stop passing it around. Okay. So she said, she's, of course, Dylan, I'm sure, in a panic, is saying, can I just tell you what happened pretty much? And she's like, what's going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? And she's like, I don't really know. But pretty much at 4 a.m., and then dispatch cuts her off again, basically saying, okay, I need to know what's going on right now. Is someone passed out? Can you find that out? So Dylan or Bethany, now who has the phone, says, yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. Wait, what's wrong? So again, which makes no sense. This is the part that doesn't make sense to me, right? See, that instantly changes the theory of what I was saying before with when the neighbor took over the phone and she's like, so somebody's passed out. There were the roommate, their roommate is passed out. She was drinking too much and she's not waking up. So then Dylan or Bethany is sitting there saying, yeah, we got to go check. Yeah, but we have to check. All right. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? That part doesn't make any sense. Then they say she's not waking up. That's when Dylan or Bethany say she's not waking up. It just seems like either it's absolute unadulterated shock or it's like unadulterated shock. Or they didn't know. It's so weird, like I said, because they've seen the scene. At least that's the way I see it. They've seen the scene. There was red everywhere. There had to have been red everywhere. You can't tell me that there isn't any red, blood. That just doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, she's like, we got to go in there and check. And to me, it's like, we got to go check, but we have to. Is she, you know what I mean? And in a way, it's like everybody else has gotten the memo. They all read the scene and she's gone. But Dylan or Bethany is sitting there going, no, we got to go in there and we got to check on her to make sure she's really, if she's passed out or if she's gone. You see what I'm saying? It's so weird. Like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. So moving on, Dispatch says dispatching Moscow Law ambulance for, and then she says she's not waking up. This is when Dylan or Bethany say she's not waking up. Dispatch says unconsciousness, 1122 King Road. Then another, I'm guessing a squad car or ambulance or something like that. 70 is en route. Then dispatch says, okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. Then Dylan says, okay, maybe, or Dylan or Bethany. I'm assuming this is Dylan, but I could be wrong. All right. Dispatch says something unintelligible. 1122 King Road. All ambulance respond for unconsciousness. 1122 King Road. Another first responder, of course, says, I copy. Right. Moving on, dispatch says unintelligible. 58. Multiple RPs on the phone. Advised saying the roommate on the scene is passed out and not waking up. Believe she got drunk last night and unintelligible about a male being in the room with them. So then one of these, the ambulance is saying, okay, unintelligible being around. I'm assuming that they're saying maybe male being around. I don't know. But moving on. Dispatch says that one I copy about 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get more information. Copy. Then Evan, okay, says, yeah, it's Evan. So a whole other person, right, gets on the phone, then gets off the phone, or I don't know. Yeah, it's Evan. Then Dylan says, okay, or Bethany. Then dispatch says, okay, how old is she? Dylan or Bethany say, she's 20. Dispatch says 20, you said. She says, yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to them? Yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to them? That's a very weird thing. Then, okay, then A2, which we got to go back to this table of contents. A2 is a man. So A2 goes back. All right. Do you want to talk to them? Okay. Hello. Okay. I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. Then A2 says, okay, sorry. They just gave me the phone. Then dispatch says, is she breathing? Then he says, hello. Is she breathing? No. Okay. Unintelligible en route. That's the one of the ambulances. Okay. Then A2, Bethany or Dylan, I need you to talking to them. Okay. I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Okay. So she goes back on, Bethany or Dylan. All right. Okay. Hello. Dispatch. Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. Then Bethany or Dylan say, okay. Dispatch. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. So Dylan or Bethany say something unintelligible. Dispatch says the patient is not conscious, not breathing. Dylan or Bethany say something unintelligible. Then dispatch says, okay, if there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. So then Dylan or Bethany say, we don't have one, which is weird. Then ambulance says unconscious, not breathing. So Dylan or Bethany say, do you have a defibrillator? Then another first responder says, yep. So then Dylan again says, yes, we have one. Which, like I said, that's so weird. It just doesn't make any sense. But moving on, dispatch says, but are you talking to the officer? Says, yes. So maybe she's saying that, yes, we have somebody here. Yes, we do have first responder here. Maybe that's what it is. Like I don't know. It's so odd. The defibrillator thing is weird. Yeah. Do you have a defibrillator? She's asking that too. So I don't know. Maybe she's like, you have that so you could revive her or something like that. Like I said, it's very interesting. But then she says, yes, we have one. But are you talking to the officer? So I guess she's saying, do you have a defibrillator to this particular officer? He says yes, and then she responds back saying, okay, yes, we have one. Like he has one. He just said that he has one. So you are talking to the officer, and that's when she says, yes, I am talking to the officer who's here. So, okay, I'm gonna let you go since he's there with you and can help you. She says, okay, thank you, bye. She says, okay, Moscow 46 out, copy, moving on. 13, I think we have a homicide. This is another responder that showed up, right? 13, I think we have a homicide. Moscow engine 20 is en route. 1370, 70 unintelligible, 107, I relayed it. Now, this is the weird part too, is that they say, I think we have a homicide. Huh? How would you say, I think we have a homicide, if you walk into the place and there's red everywhere and she's not responding? It's not I think we have a homicide. It's, we have a homicide, right? Wouldn't they know that? Like, without question? Wouldn't they know that? It seems a little bit odd, don't you think? I think we have a homicide. It's like, no, whoa. Especially if it's a gruesome scene, it's, we have a homicide here. So something's weird. Something's very weird about that, right? Wouldn't you agree? I mean, again, I've heard crazy stories. I remember we've had, some of our good friends, private investigators and all that, come onto the show. We've talked about this in the past, where it's like, is it possible that you can leave a gruesome scene and walk out without a drop of blood on you? That's something that we talked about years ago. Some of our good friends, private investigators and former FBI agents and all of that, came onto the show and they said it's possible that someone, like, because we said, even so, Brian Koberger walked out with not one drop of red on him. That just seems weird, especially in a room that's so gruesome that it's leaking red out the side of the house. That's a lot of red, y'all. That just doesn't make any sense. But they're saying it's possible. Someone could just go do all this stuff and not get hit with not one bit of splatter at all. But then at the same time, outside of that, if you're walking in to a crime scene and you're seeing that for the very first time, okay, sure, you're going to be shocked. But if you're getting multiple wounds, especially knife inflicted, you're telling me that you're not going to see that? You get hit and then the wound just closes up by itself? You're not Wolverine. Human beings don't have like super fast healing factors. So how can someone get attacked in that way? And then at the surface, just by looking at them, look like they're just passed out. But then later, red is leaking out the side of the house. Make that make sense. That makes no earthly sense. You got to also remember, there was a partial footprint of a van's sneaker, if I'm correct, on the stairwell, on the stairs. So clearly, there was some sort of splatter. So it's not like these people just got attacked and their wounds just sealed up and there was no leaking at all. And depending on how she was found, if she was leaning up against the wall or if she was on the floor, right? Just Xana alone. We're just talking about Xana. You're telling me that there's no pool underneath her and around her? They're just looking at this and saying, oh, she's passed out. We need a defibrillator. I mean, I understand the defibrillator regardless if she was looking like she was passed out or if she was covered in her own, like surrounded by red, right? But make that make sense. A vicious attack, no leakage at all, no signs of trauma, no signs of an attack, but then a day or two later, we're seeing footage of blood leaking out the side of the house. It just doesn't make sense. So instantly I keep wondering, like with the kids, now I get it, they're kids. I get it, they're kids. But at the same time, we all know at some point in our lives, especially these are all college students, this is not just some kids in grade school. These are all college students. So they're all intelligent enough to get into college, intelligent enough to go and study to get a degree. How could they not think of calling 911 until the next day afternoon? It just doesn't make any earthly sense. And then the other thing too is, somebody just said Halloween party. This is weeks after Halloween. And it's not like Xana is playing some sort of like belated Halloween prank. So you see what I'm saying? So why would they think that if she is laying in her own red, right? Why wouldn't they instantly go, oh my God? They're not going, oh, stop fooling Xana. They're not doing that. That's why they called 911. But it took so long for them to call 911. It's just weird. And Jesky, book smart, not street smart. But it's like, man, I know people that see a cockroach in the corner of their room and they're calling 911. Okay? They hear a weird creak in their home. They're calling 911, right? Knee-jerk reaction is 911. There's somebody in the alleyway of by my home. They're calling 911. Okay? And we've seen our fair share of Karen videos. All right? People just having a cookout at the local park. And Karen's just calling up 911 saying there's a group of black people. I'm not comfortable right now. No, they're minding their own business. They're having a little cookout. Looks like it's a lot of fun, but I'm scared. You know what I mean? So again, it just doesn't make any sense that all of us would call 911 if bad things happen or things are eerily going down. Instantly, we're calling 911. Not one of these kids, not one of the survivors called until other people were there, which is interesting. Then on top of it, it's very odd that they're sitting here saying that she's passed out. Very odd. So they're not talking to 911 saying we found somebody gone. They're saying she's passed out. When I feel like there's so many signs in the room, in the hallway and in that bedroom that would tell you otherwise. The other question I do have too is like, and maybe they did give this this breakdown before. Was the door closed or open in Xana's room? Because you mean to tell me she's laying in the hallway on the floor, right? She's laying on the floor in the hallway, I'm sure they can look straight into the bedroom. She's there. There's a door to her bedroom. I'm sure it's not very far from her home, from her bedroom where she was found. Few feet. If the door is wide open, couldn't you see in the bedroom and see possible carnage? You might not see Ethan. Ethan's probably behind the door. That's possible. But you're seeing the room. And if the room is like, and if something was bad, I'm sure there were traces of bad in the bedroom too. So still, you're looking at those two things and still saying she's passed out, which is weird. But like I said, the dispatch does make more sense now after going through it again to me. There are some parts that are a little bit weird. Like, obviously, it makes sense. Like, I understand it, but it still doesn't answer a lot of these questions. Yes, there's frantic stuff going on. Clearly, they're freaking out, but it's weird that they're saying that she's passed out rather than, oh my Lord, it's a full-on crime scene. We need you guys to get down here as soon as possible. You also got to remember, too, Dylan or Bethany grabbed the phone in the beginning and they were like, yeah, she's passed out. But I need to tell you this, too. So clearly she knew something was up enough for her to try to get the information out about a man being in the house at 4 a.m. in the morning, the night before, or that morning. You see what I'm saying? She clearly was going out of her way to be like, no. Let me tell you. Can I tell you what happened? Can I tell you what actually happened or pretty much happened? Yeah? Okay, there was a guy in the house. I saw a guy at 4, and then, of course, dispatch is shutting her off or shutting her down and cutting her off because she's going like, you just told me somebody's passed out. Can we just talk about that really quick so I can get people, dispatch the right people out here? I'm not a detective. I'm not a police officer. Let me just make sure I get the people over there. Hold on, sweetheart. Stop passing the phone around, and I need you to just tell me, is she breathing or not? So I get the right people there as quickly as possible. But she is also going, no. There was a guy there. So she clearly knows some sort of possible foul play is going on, right? So why would she still say passed out if you saw a dude in the house covered in all black, bushy eyebrows and a ski mask, and then the next day you find your friend on the ground? I'm not instantly saying, oh yeah, she's passed out. You see what I'm saying? And instead of her going, I kind of wish I can't say anything about that part. I mean, there's so much, I'm sure it was chaos, absolute chaos. She's freaking out. There's so much going on. I'm sure she's in absolute shock too. You have to put all that into consideration. That's some scary stuff, real talk. That's some really, really scary stuff. But I think it's weird that there's no, I think it's weird that there's no real conversation on the fact that they are gone or that Xana is gone. And I still have this theory. And again, I could be absolutely wrong about this. Okay. But I still have a theory that they knew that she was gone before they even called 911. But for some odd reason, they were saying she's gone. Or that for some odd reason, they were saying that she was passed out. I still don't understand why they said it like that. And kept with that story until the police officer got there and said, oh, I think we have a homicide. Like I said, it's weird. But again, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. You got a bunch of young kids running in and out of that house, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. But like I said, I feel like there's something that happened before they even called 911. They knew. I feel like they knew that at least Xana was gone and then freaked out because I wouldn't want to go down any of the stairs. I wouldn't want to run around and look in I'd be freaking out, man. I'd be like, whoa, 911. I'm going outside. I can't have this burned in my retinas. I'm going outside. Okay. You know what I mean? It's not, passed out. I think she's gone. There was a guy in the house at 4 a.m. We need you here. You know what I mean? I can see somebody doing that, right? But I do believe that they knew that she was gone beforehand. And I'll explain that in a second. I just talked about it last night. I asked the question. Of course, these are just theories. I could be 110% wrong, okay? But this is what we're here for, to have the conversation and to, wax theory here, okay? And possibilities, right? But again, 911 call gives us some insight, but there's some things that just don't make any sense. And maybe the audio of the 911 call will be even more helpful, right? Because we'll be able to hear every voice, even the little nuanced things that are going on in the background, because there's wait for it, guys. Let me tell you something, y'all. Let me tell you. Okay, we just talked about this the other day. Remember Carly Russell? I know. It was the gift that kept on giving that time, wasn't it? Just absolute pure comedy. But what I want to point out is, remember when the video where she pulled over to the highway, on the side of the highway, said that she found the baby on the side of the road, and then she was taken, right? Liam Neeson's, right? Remember the video? Do you remember the countless hours and theories that came out? I'm sorry for those who were here when we talked about it just the other day, but a quick trip down memory lane. Everybody was taking it and dissecting it 15 million times and going, oh no, there it is. Can't you see the ATV and the okay? There have been multiple audios of all kinds of other true crime cases that we have covered, and then some, that have taken over the world, okay, taken the world's attention by storm, where they take the audio and they dissect the hell out of it. I'm telling you right now, get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Because when that 911 audio does get released, there's going to be a slew of people dissecting it, critiquing it, ripping it all the way apart, and basically saying all kinds of wild theories. Just be weary of that, because it's coming. Sorry, but that's true. And there will be people that will find that one thing. It could just be a cricket or a freaking horn blasting. Somebody honked a horn while driving by because of traffic. Okay, could be a light meter or like a walking sign that's clicking on and off. Somebody going to dissect it and go, don't you hear that? That's Brian Koberger in the background laughing maniacally. I'm just saying, get ready with it. Get ready for it, because it's coming. When that happens, it's coming. It's coming. And there's going to be somebody who's going to make something up, fabricate some BS. Can't you hear that? That was Xana talking, or something crazy like that. It's like, no, that was somebody blowing their nose. Oh my God. So just get ready for it, because it's insane. I get it. People are very passionate, but people are going to take this and they're going to run with it. So just be sure where you're getting your information, you're getting it from solid sources, because it's going to get tabloidy here very soon when this audio drops. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. So get ready. Like literally, it'll be like a weird ding going on in the background, and it's like the ice cream man driving by or something like that. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh no. You know what I mean? So just get ready for it, because it's coming. Just letting you know, okay? It's coming. So here it is. All right. When this audio does drop, I'm going to be listening to it for sure, because I'm very interested about that too. But one thing is for sure, we have got to go back to this situation, this conversation, because I am very curious about this text message, this exchange of text messages. It just doesn't, it makes sense, but then doesn't at the same time. And I don't know if law enforcement, prosecution really did their full due diligence. And I'm not, oh no, hold on. Hold on. Before you get all mad at me. Hold on. And sorry about, the audio, the little quip about the audio, but that's true. We've seen it a million times. Seriously. We're looking at flashlight footage and people are, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, just be wary because it's out there. It's definitely out there. Oh, and let's not forget, wasn't there a guy back in the day that made up audio? He made up audio of the unalivings. Here's exclusive audio of the actual crime happening in real time. Don't you remember that? Don't you remember that BS? So just be careful, guys. No, it's like, yup, bro. Yup. That happened, bro. Yeah, it did. It happened. Okay, so just be wary because there's going to be some BS out here. Real talk. Okay, I remember that like that was yesterday. And shout out to Mel. Come on. Who broke it down, be like, this is all trash. That person lied like a mug. Okay? So, just be careful. But I don't know if the police or prosecution has done their full due diligence unless something else happened. Because it just seems a bit odd. Because we don't hear any correspondence between Dylan and Bethany until the time between 4:22 and 4:24 a.m. in the morning. There was no correspondence between them before that at all. Let me just say this really quick, okay? It says here, and let me blow this up for y'all so you can see what I'm talking about. It says DM was awake and texting at 2:10 a.m. She was texting EG, okay? This Uber driver. Now, I've been out of the conversation for a minute. EG, I'm assuming is the person who dropped her off, but I don't know. That's the one thing I'm still trying to understand. Who is this EG? It's been a long time, guys. It's been 2 years. All right. So just be nice to me. All right. But moving on from 4:19 to 4:21. I'm sorry. Dylan attempts to call Bethany, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison. Okay. Within those 2 minutes, all or less than 2 minutes. Okay. So she's calling them all and no one's answering. She's like, what the F? Right. All calls go unanswered, even the call with Bethany. So the records of these calls are not, well, blah, blah, blah. So moving on, it's all just, the legal jargon BS. Then finally, less than a minute later, Dylan and Bethany start having a conversation. And this is how it starts. Dylan says no one's answering. Then she texts her again, texts Bethany again. I'm really confused right now. Dylan goes to Kaylee. Hey, Kaylee. Kind of like, Kaylee, what's going on? She sends her both those text messages. Then Bethany comes back and says, yeah, what the F? WTF, right? Then she says again, Xana was wearing all black. So again, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Now, again, when I said last night, when we talked about this, I said there's a possibility that Dylan and Bethany had some sort of conversation. Because why would why would Bethany say that Xana is wearing all black? How would she know anything pertaining to a person in all black? Unless she saw the person herself as well. But why would they even be talking about that? Do you see what I'm saying? Hear me out. Rock with me for a second, okay? Let's take a stroll down True Crime Boulevard. Explain that to me. She's not picking up the phone when Dylan is calling all four of them. No one picks up the phone. Then suddenly Dylan texts Bethany as if they're in the middle, like as if they're picking up a conversation, like right where they left off, as if they've talked before about this person wearing all black. That doesn't make sense. So she says, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then to Kaylee, what's going on? Then Bethany responds saying, yeah, dude, WTF. Then she says, Xana was wearing all black. How would she know anything about wearing all black? Where's that conversation, baby? Think about it. Where's that conversation? They should have said in this paragraph before, where's my mouse? In this paragraph before, it should have been, yes, she attempts to call all of them, but then she had another conversation with Bethany. There was a phone call between Bethany and Dylan from 4:20 to 4:21. You see what I'm saying? Then at 4:22, it's like they picked up where they left off in the conversation. Because I don't blame. Let me just say this too. Yeah, Real Plant. It seems like it's an incomplete report. It seems a bit incomplete. Right? Because the text messages happen as if they're in the middle of a conversation, as if they already know what they're talking about, as if they've talked about this person in black that Dylan saw. Again, I sat down. I sat in my chambers. The smells of vanilla and rich mahogany, smoking on my pipe, and went over all this stuff all over again. I said, wait, that seems weird. Why would Bethany, who's on the bottom floor, yes, Sierra, who's on the bottom floor, suddenly know about who allegedly didn't see anything, would allegedly have a conversation saying Xana was wearing all black? Huh? Something is not right here. There is dialogue, at least text messages, that they have omitted. It seems as if, or they do not have record of a phone call that was made between Dylan and Bethany. Now, let me just point this out really, really quick before everyone gets mad. I'm not alleging of any foul play. I'm really not. I'm just saying the timeline ain't timelining right now. Come on, guys, let's think about it. Think about it. Why would Bethany out of nowhere say Xana was wearing all black? Why? Why would she say that? Remember what I talked about yesterday? I said she must have had Dylan and Bethany must have had a conversation on the phone or text messages that they just omitted and did not put in here, where Dylan said, yo, Bethany, oh my God, girl, I just saw a guy or someone in all black. I'm freaking out, man. Goes back in her bedroom, starts making phone calls. No one picks up. Then continues the conversation with Bethany. No one's answering. And then, of course, let's not forget this too. She saw a person in all black. That's what she says. Ski mask, bushy eyebrows. That could very well be what it was. Okay? But also Bethany must have heard something. Dog barking, whatever. Thuds, screaming, moving around. Remember, they say, and may they all rest in peace. Real talk. God rest all of their souls. But you got to remember, they did say that Xana for sure did not go down without a fight. Remember that too. You really think that this fight was silent? No grunts, no nothing. It was just a silent fight. We're not talking John Wick, and even John Wick is loud. So what are you talking about? There's no thuds, no nothing. This house is built respectfully in a cheaper housing, if that makes any sense. So anybody who takes a step, walks across the floor, the hardwood floor, you're going to hear it. The dog walking back and forth, his claws clickety clacking on the hardwood floor. You're going to hear that everywhere. So of course somebody heard something. But then, like I said, it's the text message that drive. This is the text message that says it, to me, does not make any sense. Xana was wearing all black. That means they either had a conversation with each other in person and then continued the conversation via text, or there's information in here or there's information between these texts that have not been unearthed at all. But if there was a conversation in person, they had to have been out in the space to see all that stuff. Don't worry, we're going to keep going. You know what I mean? I'm going to talk that talk. Okay? And, like I said, I know some of y'all are going to be mad, and I'm not here to piss anybody off. I love all y'all. Heart emoji. Okay? I love all y'all. But at the same time, I'm here to try to ask you guys these questions and maybe help us think a little bit. They either had a conversation with each other face to face, there was a phone call, or there's other text messages that are not in this transcription. Because it just doesn't make any sense that she would say out of nowhere, Bethany, of all people, saying Xana was wearing all black. Sorry, Dylan's the one that saw allegedly Brian Koberger in all black. Am I right or am I right? She's the one who saw him. At least that's what the reports claim. And what we've been talking about for 2 damn years. So why would Bethany be the one going, Xana was wearing all black? How does she get that information? I'm just saying, how does she get that information? Moving on, though. Let's continue on. That's just a big red flag to me. That doesn't make sense. Either Bethany also saw a person in all black and had a conversation with Dylan at some point before these text messages went down, or she just is omnipotent, knows all and sees all. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But let's continue on. All right. And I'll get to the super chats here in just a second. Okay. I appreciate all the support. Also, guys, if you appreciate the conversation, okay, because we're here to have a free, open, and independent conversation. All right. We're here to think critically and independently for ourselves. All right. There are no real right answers right now because we're only just getting pieces. You know what I mean? Pieces right now. Right. And Nick on TikTok said, Dylan said she saw someone in black. Bethany tried to make sense and say Xana was wearing all black. Exactly, on TikTok, Nick. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So what? But that's what I'm saying. If she said, I saw a guy in all black, why do we not have that in the transcription? Why don't we have that in the transcription? Or why do we not have information saying that there was a phone conversation that they had on the phone? If they're looking at all the phone history. So either those things have been omitted for some strange reason, or Dylan and Bethany got face to face and said, oh my God, I just saw a guy in the house. Right? And then she ran back upstairs into her room. That doesn't make sense either, too. You feel me? But we're going to continue. Like I said, how would she know to answer with Xana's wearing all black? That don't make no earthly sense. Because I feel like it would be the next thing she would be saying is like, Kaylee was wearing all pink. Maddie was wearing green. You know what I mean? She'd be like, oh yeah, I loved her shoes or something like that. But she's not saying that. She's saying that as a response to Dylan basically saying, I saw a dude in all black. I'm telling you, there's a man in this house in all black, man. That sounded weird. Black, ... man. Not black man. But you know what I mean. All right? So something's weird here. Something's been omitted, or there was a conversation before this text message happened that just was not done on technology, meaning they said it in person, face to face, period. Moving on. Or she yelled down and said something. But that doesn't make any sense either. You're in the house, you run into a man in all black, and you yell down to Bethany, Bethany, I saw a man in all black. That doesn't make sense either. So it had to have been a conversation face to face or on the phone. Where's that information? Where's the transcriptions for that? Let's move on. So Bethany says, yeah, dude, what the F? Xana was wearing all black, right? Dylan responds back to Bethany saying, I'm freaking out right now. Dylan again says, no, it's like ski mask almost. Ha! Let me just say that again. Oh. There is a conversation that's not in here, guys. I'm telling you right now, there's a conversation that is not in here, guys. She says, Xana was wearing all black. She says, I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost. Then Bethany's like, shut the F up. Actually. And then Dylan's like, yeah, like he had something over his head and like a little bit over his mouth. Conversation is continued from something else. Where is that correspondence? Moving on. Dylan says, Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. Bethany responds, so am I. Dylan says, my phone is about to die or is going to die. F, right? Bethany says, come to my room. Run down here. There's something in here. There's a correspondence that is missing here. And there's no way they could have missed that. And I don't know why that was omitted. Because this dialogue makes no sense. Chronologically speaking. So again, why would Xana say, or sorry, not Xana, sorry. Why would Bethany say Xana was wearing all black? And then Dylan's like, I'm freaking out right now. No, it was like a ski mask. Because you know for a fact, Bethany's trying to like basically calm Dylan down. No. She was wearing all black, so it could have just been her. And then she's like, no, it was like a ski mask almost. It was like covering his whole face. And then Bethany's like, no way, get out. Stop it. Shut the F up. You serious? You know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, whole ski mask thing, covering his whole face type thing. Where's the conversation? Like I said, where is the conversation? The fact that she is texting, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Like I said, it's like they're picking up in the middle of a conversation. So it is really, really weird. And they're not telepathic, okay? They're not kindred spirits that can speak to each other telepathically through the walls and the floors of this home. There was dialogue that happened before this text message thing even happened. But let's continue on, because it's this other part that seems weird to me. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, because some about this doesn't make any sense. All right? So let's continue on. So then after that dialogue, so 4:24 is when they stopped this correspondence. Dylan finally thinks of, oh, I should call Ethan. But his call was unanswered as well. All right. So Dylan and Bethany continue to text. Okay. Again, so where's that dialogue? At 4:24, Dylan texts Bethany, I'm scared though. Bethany responds, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Because remember, she says, run downstairs now. Run now. Come downstairs to me, right? Because she saw the guy in all black on the second floor. Frozen shock phase, remember? Okay. So she's like, I'm really scared. Like, I can't move. I'm terrified. And then, Bethany's trying to calm her and basically say, hey, we are better together than apart. So why don't you come down, right? Moving on, Dylan calls Kaylee. It's unanswered. That's 3 minutes after they got done having their text messages, right? Then, 4:28, she calls Kernodle, Xana. Nothing. Moving on, 4:32, Dylan sends text messages to Kaylee stating, please answer. This date, okay, blah, blah, blah. This is all this legal jargon crap. So this is the part that really blows my mind. And this is where I feel like something's up. Something's up. The next morning, it's 10 10:23 a.m. in the morning because she passes out. Phone dies. You got to remember that too. I'm sure the phone died at some point. She needs to plug the phone in. She's doing that, letting the phone, charge, but maybe passed out while she was waiting the phone to charge up. But then the following morning, she texts Kaylee and Maddie. She does not text Xana. And I said this last night. Now, it could be nothing, but it could be something too. Why wouldn't she not text Xana as well? The night before or 6 hours before she passed out, she was calling everybody, texting everybody, trying to get a hold of everybody. But in these text messages, it was only towards the girls that were upstairs on the second or I guess third floor, right? Not, you know what I mean? I guess people consider that basement floor the first floor. The second floor is where she was. And then the third floor is where Maddie and Kaylee were unfortunately tragically found. But that's interesting though, right? Now, like I said, I'm not saying anything, sinister. I'm not alluding to them having anything to do with the unalivings of their roommates. But it is interesting because to me, I feel like they found Xana and they didn't know what to do. But they were still texting Kaylee and Maddie because they had found, or at least Dylan had found Xana. And she wasn't responding then either. So again, that's something interesting is going on here. And again, that's why I was like, we need to have a discussion again. We need to talk about this again, because I had some time to think about it, some time to reread the 911 call, reread the text messages. And as I'm looking at it, I'm going, something's not connecting. The dots aren't connecting in the text messages. The text messages are weird too. And why is it like that? And let me tell you this too, I truly believe that Kohberger is a part of this situation. Do I think that he did it all by himself? That still remains to be seen, especially when we hear about other DNA under nails and all that stuff. I'm quite curious about all of that, which we are going to talk about here in just a minute. But let me get some of these super chats, okay? And before we get into that, actually, can you hit that like button down below, please, and thank you, okay? Let's get that like button, the likes up, okay? If you appreciate the conversation, like I said, we're talking about it, everything. We're going through it all. We're trying to figure it all out. It's just this is some weird and wild stuff. I still can't believe that these are the transcriptions that have been given to us, because I feel like it hasn't answered a whole lot. It shows proof positive that there was dialogue, but it hasn't answered everything, right? So hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Please and thank you. Let's get into these super chats. So, Puppies for Peace, thank you so much for the love. When Dylan or Bethany says pretty much at 4 a.m., this is a dead giveaway. She is putting the story ahead of getting help for the victims. I don't know what's like. That's one thing I feel like I'm sure has been asked to her and Bethany, okay, ad nauseum at this point. I'm sure they've all had the same questions being asked over and over and over again, right? Why didn't you call 911 at 4 o'clock in the morning? At 4:22 a.m. in the morning when you were texting everybody and no one was answering and you're scared out of your mind and all that. And I guess the only thing we can do is wait for the answer when they are brought into trial, because for a fact they're going to be interrogated. For a fact they've already been interrogated, and for a fact they are prime witnesses and they will be called to the stand when this trial happens in August, right? So we'll see what they say then too. But again, it's still, to me, like I said it earlier, I'll say it again. The math ain't mathin' fully, but to me, still doesn't mean that they were that they had a hand in the unaliving. Now, I know that there are theories and people saying that out here in these streets. All these chat forums are saying all this stuff, and you know what I mean? I see the internet's talking. The internet be interneting right now, and I get it, because things have not been answered. And like I said, some other theories have been unearthed all over again. It being a trap house and the house being full of paraphernalia and substances and stuff like that. I don't know about all that, right? But it would explain the delay of time, but still very, very odd stuff. Mrs. and Mr. Steelers, what's up? Thank you so much for being a member for the past 33 months. Wow, that's amazing. Will you be covering the trial? I remember this like it was yesterday, and also it feels like forever ago. I agree. It feels like eons ago. And yes, are you kidding me? I will be covering the hell out of this trial. Trust and believe. I will be watching it. When it all goes down, we will be watching it right here on the Pascal Show. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell because, you know, this was a very big case 2 years ago that we were really into big time. So it ain't stopping. We gonna be there. And if it's on camera, I'm hoping it stays on camera. That's even better. We'll be watching and we'll be covering it 110% of the way. Nanette, thank you so much for the love. This case has never made sense to me. Yeah, it is. I think that's the reason why it's captivated the whole world. This has captivated the whole world beyond just the true crime world. People are still trying to understand exactly what happened here. This one's a weird one. It's almost like JFK's, unaliving, right? Everyone's like, were there two? Were there three? For a long time, decades. We never had the full answer until recently. Now we're hearing there was two people, which is very interesting. And that's a whole other conversation in itself. But I feel like this is the reason why everyone is so dragged into this case, because it is just so beyond wild. Sandra, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for being a member for over a year. I appreciate it. Just watched yesterday's video of yours. Great coverage. Nothing makes sense, right? Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is not making any. A lot of it's not making any sense. It's not, and I think we're gonna have to leave room to just try to understand things, and wait for the trial to actually happen, and wait for more documents to drop, because they're gonna be dropping here. There's gonna be more information coming out here very, very soon. I feel it in my bones, right, all the way down to my plums. We're gonna get more stuff coming. Trust and believe. And when it does happen, we're going to talk about it. Sandra, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate the love. Sandra, again, thank you so much. And Rianne for gifting collectively six new memberships. Welcome to the family, all six of you guys. Sandra and Rianne just gave you guys some really positive love. Okay, all I ask you guys to do is to pay it forward. Okay, open the door for somebody. Just do something nice for somebody. It could be the smallest thing in the world, and it can mean the world to somebody just by doing that one small thing. All right, so pay it forward if you can. All right, but again, text messages seem a bit odd to me. They seem to me like they saw Xana, and that's when they were texting Kaylee and Maddie, because they were upstairs. That's what I truly believe. But again, I could be wrong, right? That's just a theory, right? But we got a few things we got to look at. First off, Steve Goncalves, Kaylee Goncalves' father, speaks out on News Nation, talking about this whole thing. And again, they say a lot here. So let's take a listen to this. It's fascinating stuff, y'all. Fascinating stuff.
My wife has said from the very beginning, when hopefully the 911 never came out, and if it did come out, at least she would have, be some prepared. She has a counselor, she has people she could talk to. There's certain things that coping mechanisms. So we'd like for the advocate or somebody to kind of let us know what's going on, rather than nothing personal, but having the media tell you is probably not the same as having somebody that, that you've learned to have a relationship and you trust and you've worked with. So yeah, we're finding out just like everyone else. So it's a bit rough.
Now, I have to say, I can only imagine what all the families are going through right now. I mean, let's be real. This stuff is just getting just dropped. They're going, hello, surprise, 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 right? Here's all the documents, here's the transcriptions and all that stuff. And the fact that they're still very shocked or still very surprised, they're still going through this whole thing. So I could see them being taken aback by like, whoa, wait, you just dropped all this now? Oh, okay. Wow, this is insane. The fact that there's no heads up is kind of sad. But I feel like now they might have to, unfortunately, they might have to get used to it, because I think a lot of this stuff is just going to start dropping like crazy here in the next couple weeks, as things start to get unsealed, because the judge is unsealing a lot of stuff. He's going to let the people know, let the public know what's going on. Why he's deciding to do this now, I don't know. But I'm not complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? Are you? Let's continue on.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And I remember that you had a meeting with them months ago, and I thought they were going to sort of give you guys a heads up when things were going to be released publicly. And I guess that didn't happen in this case, which is unfortunate. Is there anything, Steve, that, I mean, obviously the horror is what stands out to me, but was there anything in the text of the text messages or the call that really struck you?
What struck me is, it's not like Hollywood. It's not a scripted thing. It's not like what you would see on a TV set. That was a raw, emotional breakdown of two girls that were scared for their life. There's part of me that knows that, like how that house was,
And he's not wrong. I know a lot of you guys can't hear it on TikTok, and it's on my YouTube channel. Stick around. It's just a quick clip, and I'm breaking it all down here, okay, for you guys here on the TikTok. Here's the thing. He's basically saying, like you're seeing an interaction, a full-on correspondence between two girls that are terrified. Absolutely, I get it. But you also got to remember, you can also text 911. You can actually text 911. So if they were even scared of calling 911, they could still call, or they could still text 911. So that option was available, but I get it. Scared for their lives. Yeah, like I said, it's so strange. But again, we are not in their shoes. We are not those girls. And yeah, there's I know Grateful. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that. And maybe the girls didn't know that either, right? You also got to remember too, here's a scenario just put in your mind. She called everybody. Dylan called everybody. No one picked up their phones, right? Then she goes straight to text message and starts having a text message conversation with Bethany. Now, there's still a possibility that Bethany was like, I'm not picking up the phone. Because again, if this perpetrator, if this, as you said, guy wearing all black and wearing a ski mask, bushy eyebrows, hears me talking on the phone, it's a wrap for me too. So no, I am not going to pick up the phone. Just text me, right? That could have been it too. I understand that. You're on the phone going, hi, if you're calling 911, hi, 911, that perpetrator's going, oh, there's somebody else here. But that's the other thing too. If Dylan saw this man in all black, bushy eyebrows, he didn't attack her. He didn't go after her at all. So he wasn't going for her. Now, I know she doesn't know that. She doesn't know that. She's just scared out of her mind. She's still thinking, oh my God, she sees a guy. And same thing with whatever Bethany knows at this point. She may have just heard a whole lot of commotion above her. And she's like, oh my God, what is going on? So it's like, I'm not picking up no phone. I don't want anybody hearing my voice. I don't want anybody hearing my voice. If this perpetrator hears my voice, he's going to bust through this door and it's a wrap for me. No. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. It's still, to me, I still ask questions on why 911 was not called. But again, like I said, I know everyone's like, stop victim shaming and stuff. And I'm like, it's not victim shaming. I'm just talking about something that everybody else is asking. I think we're all wanting to know, why was 911 not called? Because again, see, this is where, Coco, and hey, you're entitled to your opinion. Absolutely. Right. But I think this is precisely the reason why everyone's like, it leaves room for speculation, even more speculation of the possibility of something sinister happening, that these girls were involved or they had something to do with it. I don't think that's the case. But I can see that when a 911 call is not made, hell yeah, it leaves so much more room for speculation. That's the reason why there are rumors, or not rumors, but speculations on the trap house theory, to the, they were involved. It's gotten that far. It's been 2 years. So of course, if they don't know anything, if they don't know, if we don't know all the facts, it leaves a whole lot of room, right? It leaves a whole lot of room. You know what I mean? For speculation and theories and conspiracies, right? The other thing too, and somebody just said it, and I forgot to ask this. First off, who the hell is EG, this Uber driver? Does anyone know that information? Hold on, I got to bring this back. We're coming back to this, I promise, because I really do want to hear. I like Steve Goncalves, I really do. You know what I mean? I think he's a soldier. I like that. He don't play. I like that. They need somebody like that, okay? Especially in this whole situation. They need somebody who's just like, I'm not playing. we need to find out exactly what went down here, y'all. I am not playing. All right. But it's their personal driver. Eric Grower. Hold on. Eric Grower or Grower. Hold on. Let me. Yeah. I mean, if anybody has a problem with Steve Goncalves, then I don't know what's wrong with you, because that dude don't play. And if you were the dad or parent, would you not play? Shoot, shout out to him, man. He a soldier, man. That mother lover soldier. Okay, but let me tell you something. All right, I'm telling you, he's like, I'm taking matters in my own hands. F it, and I'm like, okay, you do you, boo boo. Okay, but something is weird here. And again, Eric Grower. Hold on, I need to look this up. Eric. Because that is with all due respect, that's a new one for me. Okay. Now I'm looking at, I see stuff on Reddit. Okay. But like I said, this story or this conversation has gone to a whole other, you know, over years, you guys have like ventured into other conversations with this whole thing. Now I'm seeing on Reddit, and you got to take this with a grain of salt. Okay. The private driver. Now that's a very interesting thing. Why would there be a private driver? Hold on. And this is an old thing. This is old. Okay. This is from December of 2022, but I'm going to pull this up. We're going to take a look at this for a hot minute, please. And thank you. All right. Just a quick trip down memory lane. Exclusive private taxi driver who drove Idaho roommates Kaylee and Madison home hours before the. Wait, hold on. Is this the guy? Driver. Is his name in here? Because it sounds like this is just another. Because I remember it was like a whole. No. I don't see his name anywhere in this, because I do remember that there was an Uber driver that picked them up and dropped them off, right? They were drunk. They were having a good time, blah, 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 right? But that's not the one. I remember covering this too. I remember this. So it's definitely not that one. But all right. I'm not going to dive too deep into this right now live and all that. I might have to look this up and talk about it again when we get to that, if we have to circle back to that conversation again, but still, okay. It's very interesting. A private driver? That seems a little bit interesting, don't you think? Okay. But they say in here, e.g., parentheses, Uber driver. You can see right there. She sends a text message to e.g. Uber driver to inquire if he's driving. So how did these girls get a special private driver? Their own chauffeur, if you will. Starting at November 13th, at around 2:10 a.m., Dylan sends text message to E.G., Uber driver, to inquire if he's driving. And I asked this earlier, and I forgot to circle back again. But that's weird, right? And then nothing about the correspondence. Like, I want to see the correspondence then of all. A frat DD, Jerry says a frat designated driver. That's amazing. If that's the case, that's amazing. For college students, that's amazing. But at the same time, E.g. Uber driver receives a text from Dylan, 2:10 a.m. in the morning. Okay? So, blah, blah, blah. So she was awake at 2:10. And then it seems like for 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, she's wide awake. She didn't pass out or anything. So she's home asleep. And then, of course, the text messages that we saw, right? So that seems a bit interesting, don't you think? Again, it could be nothing. It could be something. We just got to talk about it. But let's continue on. Let's take a look at the rest of this video here. Again, a private driver. That's very interesting, y'all.
There's a lot of pranking going on. There's a lot of partying. So there's part of them that was probably thinking, is this a prank? Am I getting messed with? I know for a fact my daughter loved pranking people. So
pranking, but a full-on crime scene like that? I don't know.
My heart goes out to those two girls. I'd have a hard time if I was one of their parents to have my daughter put through what they've been put through. I mean, we sat 2.5 years on what? Why did this need to be hidden from the public? Why did these girls have to be dragged through all this? These are the type of things that why I do these interviews and why we push back a little bit, because I think a lot of people are questioning right now why this was hidden.
Yeah, I mean, look, Shannon, it's been years and none of this is coming out until now. And now the judge has said that he wants more of this to become public.
Which, by the way, for us nosy mother lovers out here that want to know what's going on, the fact that the judge is about to release more information and give a little bit more transparency to the public and make a lot of these things unsealed is, in my personal opinion, it gets me very excited. Okay. I think it's very, very great news, right? For us. Now, for the families, that's a different situation, but it gives everybody some insight on what's going on. And of course, at the same time, it rejuvenates the need for justice. You got to remember, he just said it's been 2.5 years. It's been 2.5 years since we were talking about this. It's been laying dormant pretty much for a while. There's been a few sprinkles here and there. There's been some hearings and all that stuff. But now this is coming out. The stuff is coming out, and it's just rejuvenating the interest and the desire and need for justice for these 4 kids. In fact, these 6 kids. Those surviving roommates still are victims as well. Let's not forget that too. So again, this is interesting, guys. Very, very interesting.
But Steve makes a good point. I mean, if this had just come out within the first couple of months, maybe it would have been easier on the survivors and the victims' families like the Goncalves.
Yeah, I mean, the prosecution's choice in keeping everything under wraps has been a decision that they've made from the get-go. They haven't wavered from it in any way. That being said, I mean, for lack of a better term, I'm just pissed. Common decency should have the Latah County prosecutor's office and the victims' advocates contact myself and the victims' families and let them know some of the stuff that's coming down and is being filed. So they're not just surprised by it, and just have a really just honest conversation with us about it. But none of that happens. And I'm frustrated and I'm pissed for myself and the family that I don't have a chance to explain those things to them, to give them a little bit of a heads up on, hey, these motions are filed this way and they may or may not be successful. If it is successful, who cares? Doesn't affect the case in some way, or my opinion on whether or not those motions might be filed or might be successful or not. But it's just really, really frustrating. And I know Steve and Christy are frustrated by it, but I'm the one that gets to say, I'm pissed, and I'm pissed for everybody.
Okay, he's done. Now, here's the thing. I understand what Shannon Gray is saying here. Okay, I of course representing the family or families of the Idaho 4. And then all these documents and things just dropping out of the sky without warning. Yeah, I'd be upset too, because the family's already reliving every single day while this trial is still trudging along, right? It angers a lot of us. We want justice. We wanted justice 2.5 years ago when all these things went down. When Brian Kohberger was arrested initially, we all just wanted, one, to make sure he is the actual guy. He is the culprit. He is the monster. But also, after them doing all their due diligence, to actually get justice, get him locked up, throw away the key, put him under the jail, okay? Put him under that prison, for crying out loud, right? So I get that piece. But this was inevitably going to happen. Maybe not every piece of document is going to be unearthed or unsealed for the whole world to see. But this was inevitably going to happen, especially now that we're getting closer to August. August is not far away now. And so now all that stuff that was sealed is slowly going to come out. So, it's a harsh reality. It's a harsh situation, but they're going to have to just get ready for it, And somebody asked on TikTok when they're releasing the audio of the 911 call. I do not know. When they do, we will be here watching it, listening to it, and talking all about it. Trust and believe. But don't worry, I'm not going to sit there and, a bird chirping in the background, turn that into someone sharpening a knife in the background. You know what I mean? Like, we got better things to do than do that, right? But we're going to try to analyze that and understand it as best as we can. But I get what Shannon Gray is saying here. I get it. It's unfortunate. And maybe they'll do better the next time that these things get unearthed. Because here's the other thing, too. There may be things that are unsealed that may be embarrassing for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, or Ethan. You never know. So I feel like it would be good, especially the heavy stuff, if it's anything that could embarrass the families of these victims, the victims themselves, it'd be nice to have a heads up, I'm sure, right? That would be the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they can't give you the documents ahead of time, it seems like they could at least give you a heads up to tell the family, hey, maybe don't watch the news for an hour. Give me a second to go through these and call you. And it seems like that would be a sort of a decent thing to do.
Agreed, right? Decent thing to do would be that. Hey, before we drop this, we're just going to give you the documents so you know exactly what's going on. All right. And then we're going to drop it like it's hot. Right. And then the world will lose their minds. And like I said, this is unearthing and reawakening the case all over again, especially now that we're marching towards the trial.
Steve, what do you make of this latest motion where they're trying to ban words from coming out during trial? I mean, simple words like that are part of the case: murder, bushy eyebrows, sociopath, psychopath. Did this come as a surprise, Steve?
Yeah, I thought they'd have a sadistic on there from the profile that I know that they've made of him. Some of the websites that he's been to, that was a one that rated really high with him. So I'm a little surprised they didn't put that word on there. But when you're super desperate, you really have nothing. You attack words and simple things like that. I mean, they're really done. I mean, their client has left so much evidence that they've got to attack words. So I guess it's a sign. It's a sign of what's to come, and hopefully the state, the prosecution, is strong enough to see this all the way through and not give in to the desperation that's about to come and the plea deals that they're going to try to negotiate for.
I'm kind of curious about what kind of plea deals are they talking about? Because again, sorry guys, I know that on TikTok you're not hearing it, and we're done with the audio here, just so you know, okay? But what they were saying is now the defense is trying to put up words that they're trying to have not be allowed in the trial, like psychopath, sociopath, the M word, and all that, which to me is trash, in my personal opinion. Oh, you can't say anything about the unalivings of these. It's like, is the court suddenly YouTube? You know what I'm saying? Is the court suddenly social media where you can't say these certain words? You feel me? Like, that's just so dumb. Defense is desperate for sure. There are a couple things. I've talked about these in pop-up videos on this channel, but I do need to talk to you guys about this for sure. Okay. This is one of the dumbest things. And what's interesting is I brought this up and no one really clicked on this video, which is so surprising because I figured everyone would be shocked. And this would show a level of desperation that is so unbelievable. I still cannot believe that this is even what the defense is trying to bring out. Let me just share with you guys this real quick, okay? The defense is trying to say that Brian Koberger is autistic. And therefore, because he's autistic and he's on the spectrum, he should not be hit with the DP. Yeah, this is not a joke. This is not a drill. This is real life. They are literally saying, oh, because he's on the spectrum now, please don't strap him to a chair. Don't let him see Mr. Sparky or a firing squad. He's on the spectrum now. Miss me with the nonsense. You want to know what this is? You know what? Let me just read some of this for you guys, because this is some bull. All right. If he's found guilty, he shouldn't get the DP. He shouldn't be paying the ultimate price because he's on the spectrum. Okay. Brian Koberger's attorney is arguing her client's autism diagnosis should prevent a death penalty sentence in the event he's found guilty of taking the lives of the 4 students in, the Idaho 4. stating capital punishment would constitute, quote unquote, cruel and unusual punishment due to his inability to fully understand the consequences. Remember this. Let me just, and I said this in my pop-up video. Please go check it out if you can. I go into more depth in it over there. But let me just say this here really quick. So you mean to tell me, cabrón, he is incompetent, yet he was getting his master's in criminology. He's been able to live on his own. He's been able to do all kinds of stuff. But he's incompetent. He's incompetent. And he doesn't understand the consequences of what is going on. But yet he's in college. He's in graduate school. He's getting his master's, okay, or was getting his master's in criminology and other things. I forgot the other stuff, right? Yeah, he was working on his doctorate. Thank you so much, S-Dubs. Thank you. He was about to get his PH mother-loving D. But he can't comprehend what's going on. Which, by the way, let me just say this too. That is insulting. That's a huge insult to all people that are on the spectrum. Real talk. You just think that people that are on the spectrum all of them just can't comprehend things that are going on in the world? What? But he was incompetent enough to go out there and allegedly take these people's lives. Lurk, find them, go in there, do that stuff. Have a 6-minute mile per mile running pace. Okay? Be very athletic. Run around and do all these kinds of things. No, to clean up his act. No, to go and walk around with gloves and all that to cover up everything, clean up and put bleach on everything in his car. Try to get rid of evidence. If he was that incompetent, then he would have been caught a lot faster. But now, because he's been diagnosed with autism, they're saying, oh, well, he's autistic. Have a heart. No, sorry. The fact that he is not fully comprehending can also show that he's a freaking sociopath. Hello. If he feels nothing, he doesn't feel bad for what has happened. He has no emotions whatsoever. That sounds like a sociopath to me. That doesn't sound like somebody who has autism. Are you out of your freaking mind? Quit insulting the autism community, man. Shut the hell up with this mess. He suddenly just got diagnosed now? Nah. Never in the history of Brian Coberdom have we heard anything about him being autistic. We've heard that he's, a little socially awkward. He stays to himself and stuff. They never said, oh, the man is also on the spectrum. They never said that. So suddenly now he's on the spectrum. And now we're supposed to have a heart. Yeah, he was out here allegedly doing all this stuff and taking 4 kids out. But now we're supposed to have a heart for him? Miss me with the nonsense. Let's continue, though. So his lawyer, who, moving the goalpost and Taylor, all right, filed a motion last week stating her client, if her client were to be found guilty and sentenced to his final place by the government, all right, that would violate his 8th Amendment constitutional rights. You see, she's floundering here. She's right now going, ooh, they got a lot on him, but I need to still help him survive. Okay? I need him to survive. Because she knows what's going to happen. He's going to be found guilty. Kohlberger, well, we already know about this, but he was formally diagnosed by a neuropsychologist just last month. Again, if he had Asperger's in his family, in his lineage, and his family, and all that stuff, okay, cool. But they never said Kohlberger, who also has Asperger's. They never said that. They've always said socially awkward, keeps to himself, very weird around women, very condescending to women. He was a TA. Let's go back to the very beginning of them saying he has an inability to not fully understand the consequences. Yet he was also a TA. He was grading papers and stuff. So apparently he's competent enough to understand things. He knows the difference between right and wrong, life and death, etc. So stop with this nonsense of, oh, now he's been diagnosed and he's on the spectrum. Have a heart. Have a heart now. Stop it. A neuropsychologist evaluated Koberger and found he, quote unquote, continues to exhibit all the core diagnostic features of ASD currently, with significant impact on his daily life. What is his daily life right now? He is locked up in a cage. He gets up. He probably, remember, he found God while he was in prison, being held up. Probably has conversations with old Padre over there. Eats his gruel from the mess hall in the jail, and he goes back into the cage. So what's going on now that's impacting his daily life? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. He's vegan. So he's eating vegan gruel. How's that? When was the last time you said that word, gruel? But like I said, okay. So now they diagnose, oh, he's on the spectrum now. Couldn't his lawyer just say, hey, why don't you just amp it up a little bit, so we can get that diagnosis real quick? Because, you want to live, right, BK? You want to live, right, Coco? So why don't you just act up a little bit, just a little bit? What are the possibilities of that? And then they go, oh, yeah, he's on the spectrum. He's got this, and this. Sorry, but no. Tuesday evening, a judge ordered the motion to be sealed, likely due to medical records privacy. And we'll have to wait to see how the judge interprets the defense's motion once the trial begins. Okay. Now, we already heard about all this stuff. But again, you got to be kidding me. He can't fully comprehend and understand the circumstances. To me, that sounds like a sociopath. That is not somebody on the spectrum. Sorry, not sorry. And here it is. If you do the crime, you most definitely need to pay the time. Ain't that the saying? Something like that, right? If you do the crime, you definitely have to pay in cookies. I don't know. That's not the saying either. Sorry. Yeah. Regardless, justice doesn't care if he's on the spectrum or not. There's been plenty of monsters out here, even alleged and convicted monsters out here that have not fully computed what's going on. Let's look at Adam Montgomery for a second here. Do you remember Adam Montgomery, that sweet, precious little girl, Harmony Montgomery, that every single time I see that photo of her smiling just makes me choke up every time? Remember that mother lover? Remember that dude? So he must be on the spectrum too then, huh? He doesn't care. He's not fully comprehending what he's done. He doesn't give a damn. Remember? So he must be on the spectrum too. Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, all of these people, they're on the spectrum now. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, why not? Why not? Just throw them all in there. Shut up. Stop it. It's dumb. Dumb. And this is a Hail Mary. This right here is a Hail Mary because they know exactly what's going to happen. They have enough against him to take this man down. Let me just say this too. Charles, man, put them all in there. Put them all in mother lovers in there then. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Do you understand? It's the dumbest thing. It's insulting, okay? To any child, any person that has autism. Are you kidding me? It's dumb. You do this stuff, you go out there and you take somebody's life, you better pay the price. Whether you are lucky and by the skin of your teeth, you do not get hit with that DP, may you forever live in agony in prison for doing the things that you are found convicted of doing, period and point blank. If that's the person, if that's what you do, and you are breaking the law and all that stuff, and you're taking people's lives, shoot, bye. Okay? Wasn't nice knowing you. Goodbye. All right? But miss me with the nonsense of trying to find some sort of excuse like this. Now they're saying that's cruel and unusual punishment. So what he's alleged of doing to those 4 kids, that's not cruel and unusual punishment as well? That wasn't cruel and unusual? It's stupid, y'all. Dumb. That's dumb. Elizabeth Meyer, thank you so much for being a member for the past 10 months. Thanks for covering this for us. Of course. I appreciate it, though. Thank you so much for your support. S-Dubs, thank you so much for the super chat. She said her phone was about to die. That's true. She didn't have a charger in her closet, then passed out from fear, and it explains a bit in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, she could have passed out, which clearly is what happened. She's probably in the closet, terrified, scared. Everything's silent, but she's like, I'm not going to move a muscle. But while she's there, she passes out. You got to remember, she's under the influence as well. Then wakes up, goes over to her wherever her charger is, plugs her phone in, lets it charge, and then starts making text messages. I can understand it being, her passing out for 6 hours. That makes sense, right? But then it's after that, right? It's after that. And same thing with Bethany. Let's not forget Bethany's there too. What about Bethany? Why wasn't there? It's 2 of them that are talking to each other. Why wasn't there a text message of any kind made, or not a text message, I'm sorry, a phone of any kind, okay, made, okay? It's a question I don't think that will ever get answered until the trial, honestly. Tina Powers, thank you so much. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, Tina. You might have to explain what that is. But thank you for the members chat, okay? But yeah, this is some wild stuff, guys. And I just I think that there needs to be more answers, and I'm hoping that when we get the audio, maybe it'll explain a little bit more. Then, of course, I'm hoping that more documents come out. When those documents do come out and they're unsealed, hopefully we get some more information and more understanding of what exactly happened here. Because again, like I said, a lot of it's still not mathing for me. I wish it was mathing, but it seems weird. Okay. Rob, just so you know, there were 4:24 a.m. So all the conversation that we saw was in the middle of the night, and this was after the attack. And the attack happened pretty quickly. Okay. The attack happened pretty quickly. And there's still question on, can one man really go in there and do all that himself? He runs. He's a runner, so he's got endurance. He's like a 6-minute mile. Okay. So he's a very fit dude, at least with the cardiovascular, right? He can run. So there's a possibility that he could have done that. And you got to remember too, if you're decent with a knife, there's a lot of damage you can do. There's a lot of damage you can do with a knife. I'm just being real, especially if you're quasi skilled with it. So you got a guy who's fairly fit, and he's got that kind of weapon in his hand. But then he's also going from ground floor up to the third floor, and he's going to this, you know what I mean? And he's doing whatever he's doing. So again, it is interesting. And you also got to remember, on top of that, some of them put up a fight, if not all of them. So if all of them are like fighting and kicking and all that stuff, you see what I'm saying? It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I'm hoping we get more answers here soon, because it just doesn't make those text messages are weird. The phone call, the 911 phone call is odd, but of course, I wanted to reiterate and like circle back and talk about that really quick with you guys, because it just was not making any earthly sense to me, and it still isn't. I have my theories, but like I said, there must have been some sort of correspondence between Bethany and Dylan before those text messages actually happened, or there's maybe text messages in between those text messages that just got lost or have been omitted from the actual documents. I wonder why, right? I actually wonder why. But I already read all the docs, Coco. Go check out yesterday's show, and we went through the whole docs yesterday, covering all of this as well. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the show. Thank you so much for the super stickers and all the comments and all that stuff. And welcome to the family, all you new members. It's amazing, okay? Our family's growing, and I love seeing that, as always, okay? But please, before you guys get going, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms like the TikTok, all right? Please also follow, all right? Follow me. We're keeping an eye on this whole thing, because this whole thing has been rejuvenated, okay? A lot of things are going to be coming out and getting unsealed over the next couple weeks, and when it does, it's going to be crazy, all right? So be ready for a lot of conversations about Idaho 4 and the many other cases that we're talking about right now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here. Follow on my other platforms. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to the secondary channel. I got a new video about Diddy's. Oh, Diddy's in some serious trouble. I got that over on the secondary channel. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. Go over there, check it out. Take a second to give a view and a like. That would be greatly appreciated, because we're still covering that case as well. And he's cooked, all right? Make sure you hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, do not forget to check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, okay? Please and thank you. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Have a great one, guys. I'll probably be on in a few hours. Just be on the lookout for that, because there's a lot going on, all right? But it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.